What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great Tuesday afternoon. But today is a special day. We know today is the franchise tag deadline. So we've been talking about this throughout the past couple of weeks, but a lot of people don't listen to what I have to say. So wanted to make a quick video before this thing gets done and before everyone loses their effing minds. So I wanted to answer the question of, should the Eagles use the franchise tag on anyone? I've been receiving messages, people commenting on shows asking, why the Eagles haven't franchise tagged everyone, why Howie Roseman is failing this offseason. And I guess my simple answer for, should the Eagles use the franchise tag is no. No, they shouldn't. So whoever is out here telling everyone that this is a bad thing, that the Eagles are not doing this, is just a little bit misinformed because, well, this is not an issue. The Eagles have not franchise tagged anyone since 2012. Deshaun Jackson. The year before that, Michael Vick in 2011. But it's not exactly a great move. So there's a reason it hasn't been done in 11 years for the Philadelphia Eagles. And, well, that's due to the money. So, that's where I come in. Time to explain how things actually work. So we have a bunch of confusion. You got to lock him down. You got to lock down this guy, that guy. The Eagles have so many free agents. And we've talked about, go check out those shows. All 19 of the free agents. Who should stay? Who should go? Do the Eagles have the money? You can go check that show out about the 10 ways the Eagles can create cap space. So there are ways to sign these guys. But the confusion lies with how the franchise tag works and how the money works. So everybody's asking for the Eagles to franchise tag these players. But the only issue is they don't understand how the money works. And that's pretty important. So there are two different kinds of tags. There is an exclusive tag and there is a non-exclusive tag that you can give to these guys. And, when you give them each of the tags, there is something different that goes on. So when you're talking about an exclusive franchise tag, that means that this player, you take the top 5 salaries of the top 5 safeties in the NFL, top 5 highest paid, you get an average of that, or 120% of that player's salary last year. Whichever is greater, that is that number, their salary cap hit as well for this season. But if they are exclusive, they cannot negotiate with other teams. They have to take the deal or they do not play. Now, you can also sign them to a non-exclusive franchise tag. Now, what that means is pretty much the same thing. You take the top 5 salary cap hits, you take an average of that, or 120% of the player's salary from the previous year. So whichever one is greater, that will be the salary cap hit. So massive. But when it is non-exclusive, they can negotiate with other teams. And if someone offers them something, we can match that offer. But if we don't, then that other team has to give the Eagles 2 first-round picks. So the non-exclusive tag, that could make sense if you're going to do that. But let's take a look at what these numbers are. So this is what SpotTrack has. And again, these could differ, but this is a rough estimate of what we're dealing with here. So talking about the top 3 guys here, Javon Hargrave, James Bradberry, CJ Gardner-Johnson. This is not only what their salaries, but that would be what goes against the effing salary cap. And let me just tell you, that is huge. And that is not something that you want to be dealing with. So those are way too big of numbers. And something I, take pride in is explaining how this works. Howie Roseman being a genius when it comes to making these deals, prorating that money, spreading out those cap hits. So what we want and what we have been discussing this entire offseason is the fact that if you're going to keep any of those guys, whether it be Hargrave, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Bradberry, you want to give them a longer-term deal. So maybe you give them a 3-year deal and it has 2 dummy years on the end of it. You're prorating that money. You're spreading out those cap hits. Therefore, you can give Jalen Hurts that extension. You can sign other players, and you can get right back into the Super Bowl. So I hear the negativity. I hear, the season's over. Like, okay, free agency hasn't even begun. It begins March 15th. God help us all. But right now, we're in contact with our players. We're going to do our thing, and we can re-sign them whenever the hell we want up until March 15th. Then they become an unrestricted free agent, and we can re-sign them then too. But there's no limit on this, okay? Sure, we'd like to see some deals get done beforehand, but right now they're working on those things. If a franchise tag is not placed on any of these guys, well, let's just hope that they get a longer term deal. One that actually benefits the Philadelphia Eagles. Whereas if you franchise tag any of these guys, it's a hindrance. And you only get them for 1 year, piss them off essentially, and they don't get their long-term deal, which all three of those guys just mentioned have pretty much earned themselves a long-term deal. So for me, this is not a big deal. I see the confusion out there, and I just thought, let me jump on top of this and explain the fact that if at 4 o'clock today we do not franchise tag anyone, that's not a bad thing. Howie Roseman does not need to be fired. This team is not bottom of the barrel. Holy hell, I already see it starting, and may God help us all. But until then, I'm going to do my best to get that out there for you. But yes, I would definitely re-sign one of our best players for sure. Yo, my man Drew in the building. Hope you're doing well. And yes, I'm sure everyone would love to have CJ Gardner-Johnson. But, Howie is truly a magician. And, I try to explain it, and you see there's just so many people in the media, so many content creators that just don't understand how the money works. And therefore, they get themselves worked up just like last season. And it's like, look, I'm going to break it down every show, just like I started it last night. The quarterbacks we went through, tonight's going to be the running backs, fullbacks. So I'll break down all the guys, and the Eagles will be able to sign people. So, check those out. You're a fan of any team, you can check those out. It's got every single free agent there is. And then by the end of the show, it's the top 5 picks for the Eagles. So explaining it all as much as I can, but we are going to try to re-sign our best players. Go check out that Stay or Go show. I explain it all. So we shall see. I see that there is a Kansas City fan offended that they won the Super Bowl. Hey, man, if the Eagles still control your every emotion, that's a great sign. And I've tried to explain that. When you have other teams living in fear of the Eagles, that goes to show you just how good Howie Roseman is. Everyone knows that the Eagles will be back. It's just a lack of understanding how football works. So you see the negative, whiny fans. You see they don't understand how money works. They haven't passed, an elementary level math level, but they think they can explain how accounting and NFL salary cap works. It's cute to see it, but you might want to learn a little bit before you explain how things work. But look, when you talk about the long-term deals, Taylor, that is what Howie's bread and butter is. You can prorate that money. All that means is spreading out that money. So when I talked about how the Eagles could trade for A.J. Brown when they said we had no money last year, how we could sign Hassan Reddick, all that stuff, I explained how you give them those deals where you prorate that money, and that is exactly what we did last year. So Howie's going to continue being Howie. People are going to continue being confused and angry about it, and I'm going to continue laughing about it because then it just continues making me look like I'm super smart. So appreciate it. But look, man, really appreciate it. Yes, Howie is pretty good. And yes, I do know it all. That's how I'm able to break it all down. So sorry you are offended about that, but I appreciate you taking the time, helping get me paid. Truly cannot thank you guys enough. But slip and slide for sure. Yeah, we all know how they won. The State Farm Arena with all the State Farm coach and the State Farm quarterback there with the Chiefs fan as the lead field guy, making sure this historic pass rush couldn't get. Look, we're all aware of how that went down, but it is what it is. The NFL's a business. They're allowed to make the games go as they see fit. And look, man, they're all in panic mode. You can see here, you have Chiefs fans, 49ers fans. They don't even give their own content creators the time because they know their teams aren't good. They don't know anything about football. So they spend their time trolling, being upset. And it's like, look, bro, I'm going to do the best for you to help you learn football. But if you're mad, you're going to have to be mad at Howie. I don't force him to do these things. He's just really that good at it. And, the Eagles are going to build on this. We've talked about it. So don't let these people that don't understand football tell you that not franchising is a bad thing because, well, they also told us Jalen Hurts couldn't develop, that we should fire Howie Roseman. And look, if they could learn football, that would probably go a long way for them. But just wanted to explain that because there is so much confusion out there, so much negativity from people that don't know what they're talking about. So let's jump on board. But hey, a big shout out. Let's all give a big thank you to the Chiefs fan for spending their time helping me get this video out there. Really can't thank you enough. Glad to see you're salty about winning the Super Bowl. I couldn't imagine being upset. I remember how happy I was, but then again, you bandwagon fans, I'm sure it's not really that big of a deal. You just became a fan when they won. So for you, it's probably not like it was for me waiting 30 years. That's something special. So I appreciate you showing us what kind of fan you truly are, my man. And thank you again for helping me get paid. It's going to happen first, restructure contracts, then long-term deal. They'll do it all, man. They'll mix it in, and you'll see some restructures coming up here. You will create cap space right before free agency. That's why I already made those shows. Go check those out, and you will learn everything you need to know. But yeah, man, you see it. If they're already afraid of us, that's a great sign, right? So we can feel it. What do I always say? Can smell the fear. And that's a great sign because even they know the Eagles will be back, and it's probably not likely that they will be because the Eagles are a better team. Everyone saw that in the first half. And obviously, with the help of the field, we were still, able to hold Patrick Mahomes to a playoff career low, 182 yards, his lowest in 31 games. And that's with the refs and the field helping stop this historic pass rush. So I would be afraid too. Don't blame you. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got for you right now. Wanted to explain how the franchise tag works, but if you have any questions on it, please feel free to leave it down below. Always here to try to help. And we will get compensatory picks for these players that leave, but I see some of the top content creators a little confused. You can only get 4 compensatory picks. I see some people saying we're going to get 5, 6. You can't. There is a maximum of 4, so just wanted to make everybody clear of that. If you guys are getting misconstrued by anybody, please feel free, comment, reach out. I'm always here to try to help people get on the same page. I know people are already trying to be negative. It's very cute, but I'll be here for you just like I was last year. Do not fear. But ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got for you. I'll be back tonight dropping the running back show. It won't be live, but I'll be dropping that for you. All of the free agent running backs in the top 5 that the Eagles should be looking at with a look at the Eagles' current running back situation, who they've got under contract, their free agents. So everything you need to know, position by position, we will be going through every single day. So make sure you're tuning in, checking out that YouTube channel. But I appreciate, is there a breakdown, the picks we could get? What do you mean? The compensatory picks? No, it's just something I've talked about. I will explain that once we lose the people. So yeah, you can't explain that until it happens, but I see people trying. Don't let those people get you twisted. They don't know what they're talking about. So I will keep you on board with everything that needs to be talked about here. We could get, can a team get 4 3s? We could get 3s. We could get 4s. Look, we've got a lot of really great players here. So it is what it is. But I think for me, we will do what needs to be done here. Howie Roseman will re-sign the guys we need to. We'll let walk who needs to walk. We'll re-sign at those positions. We've got younger players. I've explained it throughout the weeks. Keep tuning in. Tune into those position by position free agent breakdowns. You'll hear all of my thoughts, and you'll get to see what the Eagles position actually looks like at this time. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all have yourselves a great day. Stay safe out there, and as always, go Birds!